So demand for talent is super high, but pool is very limited.
Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel Career Success Guide CSG. My name is Jaya, I'm a career coach. Today we have a special guest with us. Her name is Meenal Agarwal. She is the technical recruiter at LinkedIn. She is in San Francisco. Her specialty includes full cycle recruiting, sourcing, internet search, and ATS, iCIMS, Workable, Greenhouse, and Jazz HR. Hi Meenal, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Jaya. Thank you for having me. So good to see you.
Yeah, it's so good to see you too. It's been many years. We graduated in 2012 from Alliance, and then you've chosen to become a recruiter. So why did you choose to become a recruiter, and what is the best thing about your job?
Absolutely. That's a really good question. So let me give you a quick intro about my background first. So I hold a bachelor's degree in computer engineering. And I love technology, but then I never really enjoyed programming. And so right after my bachelor's, I decided to pursue my master's. And then during my master's, kind of realized that, human resources is something that appealed to me the most. Also, back in my engineering days, I always wondered what goes behind the scenes, when companies recruit candidates. And that was another reason I decided to choose HR as my major. So I started my career as an HR generalist. So I was doing hiring, but then day-to-day other HR admin activities as well. But hiring was something that I enjoyed the most as part of my daily job. So when I was switching jobs, I decided to specifically apply as a recruiter. And since I had a degree in engineering, so definitely I wanted to work in the tech space. So that's how I started my journey as a tech recruiter. And I've worked with multiple startups, ranging from seed to mid-sized company. And right now I'm with LinkedIn. And before that, I was at Uber. So definitely had a great journey and thoroughly enjoyed my role.
Yeah, that's amazing. And I know that you're an ATS expert. People hear a lot of myths about ATS. So can you tell me how ATS work and what you look for?
Yeah, definitely. I've heard a lot of myths. I mean, there have been pre-assumptions that people make about ATS. So let me firstly tell you what an ATS is. In simpler terms. So ATS, also known as Applicant Tracking System. So it's basically a centralized repository or a database where all the candidate applications are stored. So it's basically a system that helps us as a recruiter to be more organized and really streamline the whole hiring workflow and the recruitment process. So the entire recruitment workflow is kind of managed by the ATS. Now, talking about one of the myths is ATS is just a database. It's not. It's not a database. It definitely offers a lot more. So as I mentioned, it really helps us organize the whole hiring workflow. So manage the whole process. We download the reports. We generate offers. So it's like one single tool that is, doing a lot of multiple jobs. Now, the second myth is only big companies use ATS. It's not true. If you search, you'll find a lot of ATSs that have been designed specifically based on company size, company requirements. So, I have worked for a seed company, which was a team size of 4 people. They were building their founding engineering team, and they had an ATS. Because they really wanted to make sure that right from the starting, they are streamlining the process, right? So, it's not that only big companies use, you have multiple ATS that will fit your budget as well. So you have ATSs ranging from multiple budgets, okay? Now, another myth is that ATS require a lot of technical skill to learn. Again, it's not true. I mean, most of the ATSs these days have a modern UI, which makes it user-friendly, and it's very easy to learn. And there are a lot of trainings, tutorials that you can go through, super easy to follow, and you can be an ATS expert. So you doesn't have to be a tech savvy person to learn ATS.
Mm-hmm.
And I would say the most common myth I've heard is that ATS dehumanizes the hiring process.
Yeah.
Which means that people think there is very less human involvement, if they're submitting their application, and usually the application review happens using bot, like it's all automated.
Mm-hmm.
No, people, it's not true. In fact, it increases the personal touch, because the whole purpose of ATS is to promote collaboration and just organization. So, it really, for example, let's say we ask our employees to refer candidates, right? So ATS helps it makes it very easy. So if someone refers a candidate, they can always see where that application stand in the process. It also helps hiring manager to review the feedback. I would say that I haven't seen ATSs being biased and, we are using just to weed out all the unfit application. In fact, every application is reviewed to make sure that there's no bias and the whole process is transparent. So these are some of the myths that I thought of highlighting. And again, my experience of how ATS have made my life super easy as a recruiting
Thank you for
professional.
clarifying. I've heard a lot of stories regarding ATS, and people are like, oh, this is why I'm not getting hired. So, it's a great information. Thank you for sharing that.
Of course.
And you've been screening a lot of resumes, and I've heard a single resume would get about 6 to 7 for review. And is that time sufficient for you to screen a candidate? Do you think it's justifiable?
Yeah, that's actually correct. I mean, it takes roughly about 7 to 8 seconds to go through a profile. For a single position, we receive hundreds of applications. And to go through each resume, it shouldn't take over 8 seconds. And my recommendation to candidates is that resume shouldn't be over 2 pages. Like 1-pager resume is the best. And totally, like 8 seconds is more than enough to scan a resume. And now, let me highlight some of the points we notice in a resume and how it takes us 8 seconds. Okay.
Yeah.
So let's say I am scanning a resume. The first thing which I notice is your name and the location. I mean, location is really important because you want to make sure that candidate is based out of the location that you have the job posting for. Or, you can always have a discussion about that later on. But yes, these 2 things I notice immediately. And then moving to the top half, right? I look at it all once. So it could either cover the education, or some people like to highlight a summary of their technical skills. Some people highlight general summary of their work experience. So whatever it is, we try to find the relevant job specific details. Mm-hmm. Like, for example, if you have highlighted your technical skills, I would try to notice the languages that you know or the tools you know, maybe like Java, Python, it could be anything, right? So just a quick scanning of what kind of programming languages you're aware of. And most importantly, like companies they have worked for, the job title and the duration. So after the top half, quick scanning on the company, your title and the duration, okay? And the last part could show their volunteering experience, certifications, all those kind of things. So my resume scanning is kind of divided into these 4 stages, and that's pretty much it. Now, let me dive in more on what exactly you should write in the company experience, right? That's like the most important part of your resume. Mm-hmm. So I would say that it's very important that your experience should be clearly summarized and it shouldn't be too detailed. And that's why I say 2-pager resume should be enough. If you can keep it 1-pager, that'll be best. So I've seen resumes where candidates write like long description about their job and it's very tiring to read through it. So I highly recommend that for each company experience, highlight your achievements, highlight the results, and support it with data. Write in bullet points so that it's easy to read, and you can even highlight some of your major accomplishments in bold letters. Like you can just highlight, you can use bold, you can italicize anything, but it should be fairly easy to read. It should be summarized. So that's how it takes us 8 seconds. And I would say, like, I always advise candidates to follow these points whenever they are drafting their resume.
Yeah, those are great tips for resume editing. So what would be your general advice for candidates in terms of, the hiring process?
Yeah, sure. Absolutely. The first advice from my end would be build your professional network. So this has really helped me find a job when I moved here in US and even back in India. So I have always been quite active on LinkedIn, the most professional network. I always used to connect with recruiters for the company that I was interested in. Always used to ask them about, hey, I'm interested in this job. Can you please help me refer? Or do you anyone who can refer me? So build your professional network and don't limit yourself to just the job application. As I mentioned, reach out to your network, connect with them, learn more about the opportunities in their company, and don't hesitate to ask if they can refer you. So that's like the number one advice for all the job seekers out there. Now, the second is please be clear about your goals, about your preferred next role. It's very important that you understand what is something that you're interested in, what is something you're going to do, and what is the right company that can help you achieve your goals. So please research about the companies that you're interested in applying, learn more about them, learn about the product or services, and how best would you be able to contribute if you happen to join them. Because during the interview process, we always try to see how passionate a candidate is about the company. So that's why I said, please research. The third advice would be practice well before appearing for the interview. Be it a technical, business, behavioral interview, make sure that you are practicing in advance. I mean, you can always find the commonly asked questions via Google. You search online, you'll find library of those questions. So make sure you're well prepared before appearing for the interview and you practice well. And finally, have a well-defined 1 to 2 page resume. That's the key. Yeah.
Absolutely. Great tips. Thank you for sharing those. And I would also want to know the high demand skills that you're looking for hiring technical roles. You've been doing this for a while. So what are the most in demand skills right now?
Absolutely. Would love to talk more about it. So artificial intelligence, machine learning, and data science. Data scientists, yeah. So they are one of the high demanding tech jobs. I don't know if you know, but since 2019, hiring in data science industry have increased by 40%.
Oh, wow.
6% that matter, yeah. So demand for talent is super high, but pool is very limited. And that's why it is one of the high demand skills in the tech space. Followed by analyst. So product analyst, data, business analyst, these three, category of analyst, another high demand tech jobs that we've seen. Then we have mobile developers, both Android, iOS, blockchain developers. So it's a niche position. It's new, it's evolving. Again, pool is very limited and it's one of the high demanding tech job these days. On top of it, I would say, even if, we are hiring general software engineers, like front end, back end, full stack, candidates having experience in high scalable distributed system is imperative. And that's what all the major companies, Uber, LinkedIn, Facebook, and other top Fortune 500 companies always look for in a candidates when they are selecting the general software engineers. I have been supporting the tech space, so that's why I have examples related to all the technical jobs. Yeah.
Interesting. I hope a lot of our viewers would consider taking these courses or learning more about these, or developing these. It's less competitive market, as you say, because there's less number of people with this skill set, right?
Absolutely.
And being a technical recruiter, it must be a challenge for you to find the top talent, right? So tell me more about your role and what are the challenges and how you overcome.
Yeah. So let me first talk to you more about what is the best thing about my job?
Okay.
Yeah, I think the best thing about my job is to be able to connect with people, understand more about them, their career. And my job as a recruiter really helped me become a social person. So that's what I love most about it. And then, ability to help them build their career, helping them find their first or maybe next dream job. So definitely I enjoy the most to help other people succeed. And also, it really helps me learn more about multiple job profiles. So 3 years back, I didn't even know what a data scientist does. And now I have a pretty good idea. So this is what make my job interesting. And now, my role as a talent acquisition professional or as a recruiter, it acts as a gatekeeper between company and the candidates. So my primary focus is into tech hiring, like hiring engineers, data scientists, and my daily job, I would say, is divided into 2 major parts. The first is collaborating with the business leaders within the company and able to search the right candidate for the open positions. Yeah. And my second part of my job is for all the application that we receive. So ensuring that the candidate experience is aligned well with the job requirements and advancing them in the process accordingly. And it's not easy. So let's talk about challenges. So the biggest challenge is finding the unicorn. We just discussed the high demanding tech roles, right? So finding the unicorn within the limited talent pool, like some positions, like as I said, data scientists or blockchain developers. So these are so niche that sourcing the top talent within the limited time frame is the biggest challenge. Also, job market is so competitive right now, and candidates usually have multiple offers in hand. So keeping them excited throughout the process, making sure that we can offer the best compensation and closing them for the company is another biggest challenge that we face almost every day. Also, at times hiring managers are too picky while selecting candidates. So they want to speak with multiple candidates before they could make a decision, which sort of delay the process, and eventually we end up losing the candidate. So that is another challenge that we face. So yeah, I mean, we definitely try to overcome them by educating the hiring managers, how to make sure that they are able to take the decision early in the process, or they shouldn't be taking a lot of time, honing our skills, finding creative ways to source candidates. So that's how we keep ourselves up to date and overcome these challenges.
Yeah, it must be a really interesting role for sure. It could be challenging at times, but I'm pretty sure it's very rewarding. That's what I feel about being a recruiter.
Yes.
So you're hiring for LinkedIn right now. So what is LinkedIn's hiring process like? So if somebody wants to get hired with LinkedIn, how should they approach, or what should they do?
Absolutely. So LinkedIn has a very standardized and non-biased hiring process across the board. Okay, more than happy to walk you through how we hire at LinkedIn. So the first step for candidate is to get their applications to us. So what they can do is they can start by browsing our careers page and apply to the role matching their skills, specifically focusing on the basic qualifications and ideally some of the preferred qualification. Okay, so once your application is submitted, the hiring team will be reviewing your profile and will be making sure that we connect the dots between your experience and the job requirements. Now, every candidate is notified via email, whether we are proceeding or we aren't proceeding. So everyone will be communicated and will be sharing the updated status on their application. Okay. Candidate those are shortlisted after resume review will be scheduled for a phone call with the recruiter, and it's pretty much an introductory call wherein we try to learn more about their experiences, their skills, and what is something that they're interested in. And after that call, people who are shortlisted. So for the technical roles, the next round is usually the coding or problem solving, and for the non-tech position, it's generally focused on the specific skills required for the job. So once the technical interview is finished, the final step is the on-site, which is likely a 4 to 5 hour interview. And throughout the process, all the candidates are prepped. So we make sure that we share prep points, be it the initial technical interview or the on-site, so the candidates understand what they need to prepare, and we are setting right expectations. So that's how LinkedIn hiring process looks like.
Yeah, it's quite a comprehensive process. And I would like to know the timelines too.
Yes, so I would say typically, let's say a candidate submit their application, we try to get back to them maybe like 3 to 5 days is the ideal time frame. I mean, sometimes things get delayed because we get, as I said, hundreds of applications for the general entry-level positions. So it might take a while, maybe like a week or so, but ideally we try to get back to them within 3 to 5 days to schedule an introductory call. And once that happens, we try to expedite the process as fast as we can because we want to hire fast. So it totally depends on their timeline as well, but from our end, it's pretty quick.
Oh, that's nice. I think it's very professionally managed. That's awesome. And what would be the best way to get in touch with you?
Yeah, I'm an open networker on LinkedIn, so you can always find me typing my name, Meenal Agarwal, and more than happy to connect with you.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you for participating and giving so many useful tips for our viewers and, making this time for us.
Thank you so much. It was a pleasure talking to you, Jaya. And as I said, don't hesitate to connect me on LinkedIn. And if you have any questions with respect to job or any advice, more than happy to help.
Yeah, that'll be awesome. Thank you so much.
Of course. Thank you. Bye.
If you like such content, please like, share, and comment on this video. And do not forget to subscribe to my channel. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great day.